The Fordham University Alumni Association presents the 1954 commencement exercises of Fordham University. We are about to take you to the campus of Fordham University in the Bronx, New York City, for an on-the-scene description of the highlights of the 1954 commencement exercises of Fordham University. Before we do, your Alumni Association, under whose auspices this recording is presented, would like to bring to you a musical salute from the Glee Club. Let's listen now to the Fordham Alma Mater. We are now speaking to you from our vantage point on the second floor of Keating Hall here on the Fordham campus. Over to our right on the terrace level of Keating Hall is the speaker's platform. At the foot of the steps, back some 50 feet, are the candidates, and then beyond that there are some 8,000 or 9,000 guests of the graduates seated on the spacious lawn of Edwards Parade. At the present moment, the graduates are all in their places, and the dignitaries and faculty are walking to their seats on the terrace. It is a warm but windy afternoon on this, the 9th day of June in the year of our Lord, 1954. There is a possibility that we may get some distortions in the sound due to this lively wind. I would like to take a few moments now, before the processional concludes, to mention a few interesting facts about this great school of learning. Fordham University was founded in 1841 and is the largest Catholic university in the United States, as well as one of the oldest. For those of you listening to this description who have never had the pleasure of visiting this beautiful campus, I would like to give you a very brief description of it. The campus here in the Bronx covers an area of 80 acres. There are 8 residence halls, a huge field house-type gymnasium, 3 theaters for dramatic activities, 4 athletic fields, tennis courts, the world-famous seismograph station, and the alumni house situated to the rear of Martyrs Court. It is the second oldest building on the campus. There are no streets as such running through the college grounds, just winding roads, all lined with beautiful trees that lend a serene atmosphere to the campus, despite its location in one of New York's busiest sections. The graduates, or better yet, the alumni of this famous institution, now number nearly 25,000. They are located in every state of the Union, as well as in 29 foreign countries. Speaking of the Alumni Association, this recording to which you are listening is a Fordham first. 2 years ago, Fordham became the first school in the country to produce such a record for its graduates. Well, I see the processional seems to be just about over. The candidates, as well as the dignitaries and faculty, are all standing in their places. And I believe we will have the ceremonies officially opened with the Fordham Band playing our national anthem. Following the national anthem, the president of Fordham University, the Very Reverend Lawrence J. McGinley, S.J., made a short statement honoring the golden jubilarians of the university. The members of the class of 1904 who were honored were Arthur J. Egan, Arthur L. Hurley, Dr. August H. Mize, William T. Rodier, Thomas F. Walsh, and Joseph McManus. At the present moment, the honorary degrees are being presented. As this ceremony is rather long and is being read in Latin, I will cover it for you by reading to you the names of those being honored today, plus a word or two from the program about them. They were the Very Reverend Mother Dorothea Dunkerley, first woman president of the College of New Rochelle. She has, for the past 25 years, worked devotedly as professor and dean in the interest of her alma mater and her students. The Reverend Mother Mary Alice, presently superintendent of St. Clair's Hospital in New York City. A nationally known hospital administrator, she is often referred to as the Doctor of Sick Hospitals. The Most Reverend Edward Vincent Dargan, Auxiliary Bishop of New York. He has served as Associate Chief Justice and Chief Justice of the Metropolitan Tribunal of the Chancery Office, and as Vicar General of the Archdiocese of New York. The Marquis George MacDonald. He is a captain of industry and finance. He has filled countless high positions in peace and war. Many honors have been conferred on him, some even by foreign nations such as France, Italy, and Spain. The Honorable Robert Murphy, Deputy Under-Secretary of State and today's guest speaker. He acted as political advisor to General Eisenhower during World War II. Since then, he has served as peacetime advisor in Germany and later as ambassador to Belgium and Japan. Charles Howard Silver, president of Beth Israel Hospital, an outstanding humanitarian and philanthropist. He is well known for his work in behalf of his fellow man, regardless of race, creed, or color. The Honorable William Joseph Tracy, civic leader, well known for his youth work. He is also a commissioner serving without compensation of the excellent Triborough Bridge and Tunnel Authority. Henry Viscardi, Jr., outstanding alumnus of Fordham University. Having overcome his own great handicap, he chose to devote his life to promoting the interests of other handicapped persons. Truly a great humanitarian.
For the world, Soviet imperialism.
We are now listening to the principal speaker of the day, the Honorable Robert Murphy, Deputy Under-Secretary of State.
Became the chief disturber of the peace throughout a whole series of expansionist projects. By devious ways and the ample use of the veto, its representatives have tried to obstruct the normal operation of the United Nations peace machinery, which under the Charter is comparatively simple and clear. A number of nations, including our own, refused to be frustrated by Soviet obstructionist tactics, and it fortunately became apparent that the peacemaking function of the United Nations is so important that it offers a reasonable latitude and a variety of action all within the purview of the Charter. Thus, it is well to remember that the Uniting for Peace resolution empowered the veto-less General Assembly to initiate collective action against aggression. Article 52 of the Charter authorizes and encourages regional security arrangements for keeping the peace. And of course, the historic Vandenberg Resolution, adopted by our Congress, authorized American association with regional and other collective security arrangements. So it is clear that the guideline for United States security action contemplates that such action have the moral sanction of the United Nations in accordance with its established procedures. In such instances, it is also clear that our national action must be a part of collective action, either under the Charter, as in the case of Korea, or under regional arrangements for self-defense, as authorized by the Charter, and of course including the threatened victim nation itself. In the words of our President, each area must be defended primarily by the people of that region. No nation can be saved which does not wish to be saved. Thus, our present policy represents an evolution of the security goals we set for ourselves during the course of American post-war planning. It has been adapted to cope with communist obstruction, but it still stresses security as the primary requirement for world progress. And closely associated in our minds with security is the promotion of world prosperity through cooperation. Again, the Iron Curtain has denied us this on a worldwide basis, but the free world offers us a vast area in which we can act. And your government is acting with vigor in the fields of economic cooperation and technical assistance, as well as in the broader areas of cultural exchanges and intellectual cooperation. It is in these areas that solid barriers can be erected against communist subversion, which breeds on and inspires social distress, and so strength can be stored against eventual communist aggression. But it is not my intention, Mr. President, to burden the joyous moment of graduation, the successful achievement of life's first major effort, with a lengthy dissertation on the details of American foreign policy. But it is perhaps well for the graduating class to understand clearly that the kind of world in which we live and work today makes exacting demands on all of us in the field of our national security, and that has an impact on every profession and every activity. Mr. President, it is an honor and a privilege to join with your alma mater and your faculty in extending to you, the graduating class, wishes for your success and happiness in your chosen professions, and especially continuing faith in the spiritual values taught by this great university.
Following the address of today's guest speaker, the most important part of this afternoon's program has just taken place. In view of the fact that 7 departments of the university presented candidates for degrees, we were unable to bring you full coverage. The degree recipients were from the following schools of the university. In order, the schools were the Graduate School of Arts and Science, the School of Social Services, the School of Education, the School of General Studies, the School of Law, the School of Pharmacy, and the School of Business. This phase of today's program is concluding now with the commissioning as second lieutenants in the U.S. Air Force Reserve and the U.S. Army Reserve, those graduates who were members of the Reserve Officers Training Corps.
On behalf of all of us, I would like to thank Ambassador Murphy, who in the busy days in Washington...
You are now listening to the president of Fordham University, the Very Reverend Lawrence J. McGinley,
has
S.J.
taken time to come up to the quieter air of Rose Hill and to speak to us so deeply and so sincerely. like to say a word of thanks to all the very distinguished guests who have come to be with us today. They're here in the backfield, just behind Bishop Dargan, and we appreciate each one of them and clasp them to Fordham's heart. I would like also to thank those over there on the first baseline who have come to us and helped us share in their achievements by allowing us to honor them with our honorary affiliation as alumni of Fordham. And on behalf of all of you who sit out there in your caps and gowns, I'd like to thank the people here on the third base line also. Very much the faculty. I'm quite sure that we'll all admit that in the paean of the Victory March today that you stride so proudly to, some of the accompaniment was written by the pleading and the prodding and the praying of these people on my left. In return, on behalf of the faculty, I would like to say a word of thanks to you, the graduates. Thanks for the privilege of sharing in these latter years in your own parable of the talents as you have unfolded to the best of your ability and ours your potential for life, as you have achieved in some measure at least the techniques of the educated man or woman, all those knowledges of fact, the mental habits of the educated man and woman, and above all, the university's sense of vision. For our share in that great challenge, we say thanks to you. And now on behalf of all of us, you and we, I surely should say thanks to that great army of parents, of mothers and fathers, and dear Aunt Janes, whose sacrifices and whose prayers have seen you through and seen us have the task completely done. It's their V-Day above all. And of course, on an occasion like this, at a university like Fordham, it is only meet and proper that I should, in your name, in the name of all of us, acknowledge publicly and humbly our thanks to Almighty God and to the Blessed Mother, Queen of Rose Hill, under whose inspiration and blessing we have all labored.
We regret that due to time limitations, we could not bring you Father McGinley's entire address. Right now, the band is playing the Fordham Marching Song. Let's pick up the band. Following the band selection, Father McGinley introduced His Excellency, the Most Reverend Edward Vincent Dargan, Auxiliary Bishop of New York. Bishop Dargan is now concluding his remarks to the graduates.
And now, as a kind of concluding thought, Father McGinley spoke about the yesterdays and the tomorrows. God has marked these with a color red. It's nice to know in these days that red has a sacred color. And God has used the color red to begin a day and to end it. Every day is ushered in with a burst of red that characterizes the sunrise, and every day is ushered out by a blood-red sky of martyr's vesture. And this is the language, this is the rhetoric which God paints across the sky every so-called common day to tell us of the value of time. And those sunrises and those sunsets have run their course for some 113 years over this campus. And in the divine scheme of things, the lives of you graduates caught up with the stream of time, and you have been privileged to study here at Fordham. Although you stood up in groups in some instances, each of you is a unique individual. There is nobody else like you in the world, nor will there ever be. Your fingerprint is just a physical characteristic of the omnipotent power of God, whereby he manifests his power for his greater honor and glory by the variety of his creation. And when he created your soul and infused it into your body, he made you unique. Never again will there be, or never has there been, anyone exactly like you. There are going to be many sunrises and sunsets. Father McGinley, after speaking about the yesterdays, spoke about the tomorrows. Tomorrow is going to begin with a sunrise and end with a sunset, and so it will be during the time that has been allotted in divine providence to you graduates of Fordham of 1954. You have been given the very finest education that your parents, that your country, and that your college could supply. May you go forth to accomplish the mission which God ordained for you to perform as an individual. May you go forth to perform it, and may I assure you that you go forth not only with our blessings, not only with our congratulations, not only with our good wishes, but with our deepest prayers that you may do your work for God and country and the world.
We have now reached the end of today's ceremonies. The band is getting ready to play, and I believe the Recessional March is about to begin. There's the Ram. I guess that instead of the usual recessional music, we're going to listen to the spirited strains of this famous football fight song. Come to think of it, we'll be hearing this song at the Polo Grounds this coming fall, when all Fordham men gather to cheer on their football team as they battle some of the country's best 11s. Let's listen to the band. playing of the ram, the 1954 commencement exercises of Fordham University are fast drawing to a close. The graduates, or should I say, the new members of the alumni, are now standing and will soon be with their families, relatives, and perhaps sweethearts for some photographs or even motion pictures. We hope this record will also serve as an interesting memento of the day. Following the sign-off from the scene of today's activities, a special word of congratulations will be spoken by the president of the Alumni Association, Vincent W. Tunney. After Mr. Tunney's remarks, this special recording will end with a final musical selection by the Fordham Glee Club under the direction of Frederick Jocelyn. We hope you have enjoyed this recording and that as the years go on, it will always bring back happy memories.
Members of the class of 1954, I deeply appreciate this opportunity to congratulate you on this glorious day. I want to extend to every member of this class a heartfelt welcome into our great Alumni Association. The board of directors and the officers join me in this greeting. Your devoted parents who made great sacrifices to enable you to attend Fordham University must feel very proud of you today. My earnest prayer is that your conduct in your future careers will always merit their pride and esteem. I am sure that it will. Now that you are about to leave these historic halls of Fordham, I implore you not to sever your associations with Fordham and your classmates. If you do, you will lose many friends and many memories too fine and too good to lose. You can retain these friendships and make these memories endure by taking an active part in your alumni association. This is done very easily by keeping in touch with your class secretary and with the executive secretary of the Alumni Association, Mr. Sylvester A. Manning. His office is on the campus, just beyond Martyrs Court. They will keep you informed as to class reunions, meetings, and other functions of the Alumni Association. Bear in mind that you have a stake in your association. It belongs to and is controlled by graduates of Fordham and no one else. Its success depends upon the interest manifested in it by you. Furthermore, the success of Fordham depends greatly upon the success of the Alumni Association. Now that you have graduated, cooperate with us and with Fordham, and remember to be a credit to your parents, to Fordham, and to yourselves. May God bless you in your new careers.